is Jenny, and I'm a wife and mom raising 2 kids. But I used to live a more glamorous life as a TV reporter. I was on the nightly news interviewing pop stars and politicians. So when I said goodbye to TV and hello to motherhood, I suddenly discovered what we moms are up against. We live in a world that tells us to be rich and famous, thin and successful. You know, almost nobody says,
oh hey, you're a mom? That's fabulous. But you are fabulous, and I'm here to tell you why.
It's the Channelmom Show, celebrating you with Jenny Dean Schmidt.
You are listening to the Channelmom Show, where we are celebrating you as a mother on Mile High Sports Radio, AM 1510, FM 93.7. If you have a question for our host today, we urge you to call in. I think Shelly's going to have a question here in a second. 303-297-1510. Please call us. Also, you know what? You can join us on Facebook. Facebook.com/Channelmom. You can ask a question there if you're too shy to ask it on the radio. And finally, you can watch us all during the week if you miss a show or you want to direct some of your friends to it on Channelmom.com. And you can see Carol's, interview there this week because we will place it up there this week. Welcome back, Carol. Let's talk about this listing out the positive things in your life.
Yes. I'm
pretty sure I heard Oprah once say it. Not that she is, my authority in all things, but I think I heard her say that as well. And I remember one day I was when I used to do, TV news, I talk about it in the introduction. I was off doing a news story. I think it wasn't a particularly good day, and I had a 45-minute ride home, and I forced myself to say out loud the things that I was thankful for all the way home. And I was able to cover 45 minutes with gratitude. I was amazed. But when I got home, I was like a whole different woman.
Exactly.
Just recognizing I made myself, and man, it's hard because I don't know what it is about us women. Do you agree with this? We do sort of enjoy self-pity. Or feeling bad about ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Do we?
We love to wallow in it. We love to wallow in self-pity and also in that somebody else has hurt me. I have, this is what they've done to me. And we wallow in our pain and our self-pity. And that's why I think it's really important to recognize this is not healthy. It is not healthy because it's bringing me down, but it's also bringing the other people around me down as well, because what does that do? All that dwelling on self-pity and anger and frustration and bitterness, it just makes us angry, bitter people, unkind people.
Right.
So we want to be different than that. We want to be better than that, and certainly that defeats our confidence, too, when we are just all balled up with anger and bitterness inside. But when we can focus on what's good, it changes our outlook, and it actually makes us likable people.
Right.
More pleasant to be around.
Right. And who doesn't want to be liked? Who doesn't want to be liked, So we are speaking, by the way, with Carol Ladd, the author of over 20 books, many of them very inspirational, and she is the author of a new book, A Woman's Secret for Confident Living, and we are speaking with her today about all kinds of questions that mothers have. And Carol, I know there are moms out there who struggle to be positive, and they say, you don't know my life. They may be single moms or going through a divorce or have lost a spouse or have lost a child, and they think, you don't understand how in the world you're the positive lady and you run a website called Positive Life Principles, which is fabulous. But some people feel like, how do I get there? Maybe Carol can get there, but I can't. What would you tell them?
Well, honestly, optimism can be learned. We can grow into looking at things a little bit more in a positive direction, but it takes step-by-step pattern. And I guess the first step is that choice to say, I'm not happy as a negative person. Negativity is not only bringing me down, but it's bringing the other people around me down. And I can choose to have a more positive outlook. And you know what? I would say to everybody who is going through difficulty and challenges that seem overwhelming, but one thing I would say is that you are not alone. You're not the first person who has gone through these difficulties and adversity. Adversity happens. It happens to everybody, and I'm not minimalizing your adversity and your challenges, but it is important to recognize that you're not the first person who's gone through this, and other people have overcome, and you can too. But when I say you're not alone, I also want to encourage moms to to know that you're not alone, that there is a God who loves you and is able to help you get through this, that you are not alone in your circumstances. There's other people that can help you, but there is a God who loves you. And so I say that beginning step is to say, I choose to not stay in this negative place. But even in my adversity, I'm going to look for ways that I can make this better. I'm going to look for a resolution, and I'm going to persevere. I'm going to persevere through adversity. And all of us can do that if we determine to do that. But it's a bit of changing our outlook, and there's certainly some habits that we can change in our lives that we can talk about that we need to do step by step to get there.
Well, it's almost like exercise. If you can just commit to doing that, and even if you think it's not part of your DNA to try to be more positive, just commit to doing that, like working out for 3 weeks or a month, that eventually it'll become a habit. I agree with you. I know Shelley has a question. I want to get one in quickly before I give the floor to Shelley. Tell me about struggling with a child. I mean, it can happen with toddlers. It can happen with a colicky baby, frankly, or it can happen in my situation, as it did yesterday, with a pre-teenager, where you find yourself, sort of descending to their level. So let's say a toddler is flipping out, so you descend to flipping out back at them. And yesterday, when I felt that my son was putting me down, I descended into yelling and I suppose in some ways putting him down. How can we, and me in particular, how can I restructure that situation where I find that I'm being criticized and it's hurting me, and so then I lash out again? Where do I go? What do I do? What is some self-talk I can have in that kind of situation? And what can other mothers do?
You know, I like to use the stop method. And first of all, just to say, every mom's been there. Every mom knows that.
You.
Oh, my word, I am going to boil over. And often we do. And so we do want to think of steps. And I like the stop method. I think that it's a very effective. STOP, if you can just remember, I've got to stop. And S stands for step away from the situation. Literally remove yourself. I like what you did. You went to your car and regrouped. And if we can do that, the earlier we can do that, the better. You know, to step outside if we need to. If you're at the mall with your kids, don't leave your kids alone, but at least even turn around or step around the corner just to regain your composure and step away from what is the immediate source of anger. Now, if you're driving in your car, of course, you can't get out of the car at that moment, but you can actually even step away in your mind. Think about a place where you really love to go, the beach or the mountains, or just picture yourself somewhere else. So S stands for step away. T stands for take several deep, calming breaths of fresh air. This is important because it helps relieve your body physically. It literally calms your body down, but it also gives you a few minutes to regroup. So deep breaths of fresh air. You can start to even feel your shoulders relaxing through that process. So take several deep breaths of fresh air. O stands for objectively look at the situation. And now this is where we have to employ our brains, because honestly, when we're about to lose it, the adrenaline is flowing so much that our brains actually get overtaken by the heat of the moment, and we're not thinking straight. So once we've taken several deep breaths of fresh air, we need to objectively look at the situation. And by that I mean, is this an opportunity to teach and train my child? Or am I just frustrated because I'm tired, or I'm hormonal, or I'm hungry? Or maybe the kids are hungry. Maybe I've dragged them around to 5 different errands and they are tired and hungry, and this is not really their normal behavior, but they're just tired and hungry. Or they're hot. The heat right now is getting them down. So objectively look at the situation. Am I about to yell at my kids because I'm mad at my husband? All of these need to play in as we truly think and look at it and think, okay, now, what can I do that makes sense? Yelling and screaming does not make sense. It will only teach them to yell and scream. But if they're tired, then maybe we need to go home. If they need discipline, then I need to do it wisely and lovingly. finally, P stands for pray. And I mean to tell you that we need to get our eyes looking upward to recognize that there is a God who loves us and can give us strength when we have no strength.
Right.
And even AA looks to a higher power. And for me, I look to God and I say, oh, Father, help me.
Yeah.
Help me to have the patience you have with me.
I did the P yesterday. I did the P, but I'm not sure if I did the other three. I did the P. We have only about a minute left, Carol, but I'm going to let Shelley ask you a quick question briefly before we wrap up. So, Shelley, what was your question?
So my question is the before you get to the point where you stop, where like I can find myself where maybe I was ruminating on something an entire day before I even realized, oh my gosh, I've been doing this all day. How can we take steps to even get to there sooner, where we're recognizing that we're stuck in this negative loop?
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's one of the positives about this program right now is that we are helping alert people and helping people to think, okay, wait a minute, am I going off on the wrong track and thinking, ruminating over negativity? Mm-hmm. If you notice that you tend to ruminate over certain things, whether it's a bitterness issue or a worry issue, one of the things I've found helpful is to put little reminders around. For me personally, I put little notes around sometimes that say, have you prayed about it? Because that's what I need to do when I'm anxious and worried. And if I go off on worry, I can really spend a long time worrying. And so writing myself little notes to remind myself, wait a minute, are you worried or are you praying? I even put scripture verses around my house, Bible verses that help me to point myself upward and to think about truth instead of negativity. Right. Now, there might be a good quote that you need, but things that will be that mental reminder, because it sounds like what you're asking is how do I get off of this negative thinking and recognize it? Well, one of the ways to do that is to put little reminders around your car, around your house, that will keep you in focus. I know that one lady puts 2 pairs of sunglasses by her at her sink, because one time I was speaking and I told the audience, we have a choice as how we will view our circumstances. We can look through the dark glasses of despair or the bright glasses of hope. So she bought some and put them at her kitchen sink to remind herself, I have a choice as to how I will view my circumstances. I don't have to look through these glasses of despair and negativity. I can look at my situation differently and reframe it differently.
Oh, that's wonderful. So we need to go out and get sticky notes and glasses, Shelley. Carol Ladd, you are wonderful. We love your books and we love your advice, and we'll have you back again soon. So thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me. Have a great day.
You too, dear. Bye-bye. All right, Carol Ladd, love her. We'll continue to have her on because she really does have good advice, and she has so many books out there that I would urge women to go look at. We do have links on our Facebook page and so on. And I wanted to talk to her about her book, Thrive, Don't Simply Survive, because boy, do I identify with that, and I have friends who've been through troubled times, and they do need to get out of the survive mode and into the thrive mode, and so I would love to talk to her about that. But now, if Dan is ready, it is time for our Channel Mom Tips for Busy Moms.
Hey Mom, feeling too busy and a bit overwhelmed? Would you like a shortcut to raising great kids? Check out our Channel Mom's Tips for Busy Moms.
We are inviting you to share your tips with us, fabulous advice for other moms, so please feel free to let us know on at Channelmom at AOL. That's our email, or go to our Facebook page, /Channelmom, and just share your tips with us there. Today, the tip comes from me. It's called, quote, make your kids open the door and go outside to play. I am concerned that in this age of video games and texting and TV that kids can just sit inside and forget that we live in one of the most beautiful states in the nation. And I would say this to anybody in any state. But I once listened to a MOP speaker say, just have your kids go outside. Just have them go outside. It'll make a world of difference in their lives and yours. They get, what do they get? They get fresh air, dirt, trees, sunshine, vitamin D, and exercise, all just from stepping out that door. So if you want to do one nice thing for your kids every day, have them go outside for half an hour. Now, I want to say keep a close eye on them. I'm not somebody who advocates letting them bike down the street and don't see them for an hour, but just make them go outside. What do you think, Shel?
I think you should go with them also.
Yeah. Gets you outside too.
That's right.
I like it. Now, I guess it's a little hard when it's freezing or 100 degrees, but any other day, I would recommend it. Okay? Alrighty, you are listening to the Channel Mom Show, where we are celebrating you on Mile High Sports Radio, AM 1510, FM 93.7. I have been your host today, Jenny Dean Schmidt. You can also watch us all during the week if you've missed some shows. We've had some really good ones about cyberspace and fat is not a 4-letter word. And speaking of fat is not a 4-letter word, we have got Julie Hammerstein coming back next week, the author of Fat is Not a 4-Letter Word. She's going to be with us with some amazing tips for moms. She has a really healthy technique that's super, super simple that she's going to share on the show next week. So I'm looking forward to that. So moms, you have a great week. Please know that you're incredibly important. Value that and value your babies and your spouses too. All right. Have a lovely week. Thanks so much for joining us.
Say what you need to say. Say what you need to